Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to look at my collection of Sansevieria. It looks like they're trying to change the name, well they have changed the name to Dracaena. I'll always call them Sansevierias. They're always going to be the snake plant, they're always going to be that. And yeah, I'm not sure why they're, well it's all to do with science. I don't know what it is that's the same about them, but to me when I look at a Dracaena, I don't see a Sansevieria. It's got to be something to do with the flowers, I'm not sure. But anyway, if any of you know what it is that put them into the Dracaena family, let me know. Anyway, let's just start off with this little guy. So cute. Oh, before we do, Sansevierias are a wonderful group of plants that are really, really low care. If you have a problem with watering, like not watering very often, Sansevierias are probably the plant for you, because most often it is root rot that kills them. So if you don't water all the time, chances are they're going to be really, really good. They also are low light tolerant, but prefer high light. If you put them in high light, they will grow much better. They will grow more vigorously and usually more colorful, and yeah, just all in all better. But if you have them in a shadier spot, they will still grow very, very slowly, and yeah, they're just an all-around great plant. So this one here, because I have it in my hand, this is a really, really nice one. Sorry, after carrying all of these down here, I'm out of breath taking all these down the stairs. This one here was upstairs, so I had to drag it down 2 flights of stairs, or two levels, and I'm out of breath. They're heavy. They're heavy. So anyway, back to this one. This one is a Dwarf Sansevieria. I believe it's Samurai, Sansevieria Samurai. There's another name to it. I can't remember. It's longer, and I can't pronounce it anyway. I would butcher it. So this one is Samurai, and I got this one. He was very, very tiny. You could probably see the little leaves back down in here. This is how big he was when I first got him. And since then has flourished. It's doing so well. I changed my watering habit. They used to not get very much water, and now I'm watering them more often. I actually got a little hose to bring down here and attach to my sink. So I have my watering wand. I just turn on the hose, and I go from plant to plant to plant, putting water in, making sure that their reservoir is full. So things are doing much better down here, which is amazing what water will do. And it only takes me like 10 minutes, or maybe a half hour to water all of my things in the basement, and or in the grow room. And before it would take me hours, and I would forget shelves because I got sidetracked by shiny things, just like I'm doing right now. I'm sidetracked. Let's get back to Sansevieria. So this one's really, really cute. I don't know how much bigger he's going to get, but whatever happens, happens. It is perfect the way that it is. I might have to start taking cuttings from it soon, because I'd actually like to keep it the height that it is. So if it gets much taller, I'll probably chop it and maybe take some leaf cuttings and see what happens. Maybe I can get it to bush out so it has more little babies around it. But I really like the way that this specimen is looking right now. To me, right now, at this point, it is perfect. For a little while, it was starting to jump in leaf size, and it just looked kind of weird. But now that it's doing its thing, it looks really, really funky. So let's deal with the elephant in this room. You guys have seen this before. This is my whale fin. This is the Sansevieria masoniana. It's in a big pot. I can't raise it up anymore because it's against the ceiling. And here it is. It's doing just fine. It's got some discoloration. That's from being outside in the summertime. I'll maybe take a photo of it and put it off to the side from farther away. Unfortunately, I can't get farther away. I've got the wall behind me. So, yeah, this is my baby. This is the one that I've really looked after and fallen for. But this one is now taking, like, I don't know. I've had it for a long time, and I still, there's a place in my heart for it. But I'm so interested in some of these newer varieties that I got that this one is on the back burner for me right now. When it starts to put out new growth, it'll be fantastic again, and I'll jump back into its corner. So yeah, check out the photo of that. I probably already posted it. Lifting it so hard, it's probably I don't know, I'm going to say 4 feet tall. And then including the pot, it's probably about 5 feet. Trying to carry it, you got to, well, I've got to carry it hunched over because it won't fit through door frames. It's just really awkward. So the next one, we'll go with the Sansevieria Fernwood. I really like this plant. It's hard to tell with what it looks like right here, but they grow in rosettes, and it looks like it's a little bush, like there's a lot of little babies in there. I think I'm going to divide this out because I really like it when there's 2 or 3 in a pot, even a single one in a pot, and then they get big. These ones, it looks, I've had this for a few years. I'm going to say I've had this for probably at least 4 years, and it hasn't really grown much. Last year it actually did a jump in size. Some of these ones here are now getting bigger, but when I go to a garden center, I see them, they're probably 4 feet tall, 3 or 4 feet tall, and the leaf is about 1.5 inches to 2 feet wide at the base, and it just goes into a beautiful blade, and it makes a nice rosette. I don't know, reminiscent of like an agave, but absolutely not like an agave. It's still much daintier. Let's get this other big guy out of the way. This is the standard Sansevieria trifasciata, and this one is not doing so bad. This one has been neglected. I've had this one for a long time. I'm going to say this one has been at least 10 years, maybe longer, and it's been through the ringer. I've overwatered it a few times and it started to rot, and I caught myself and let it dry out completely. So there is, if you catch it soon enough, if you just notice a few that are rotting away, just make sure if it's really wet soil, you want to take it out, transplant it into dry soil. If it's in a pot that dries out really quickly, then let it dry out. But you want to get it out of the moist environment as soon as you can and let it dry. And there is hope in saving them. So that one is that. I've got a bunch that are kind of broken. Let me show you. It's hitting the ceiling. I've got a bunch that are broken. They've been broken for a while. I might take cuttings from them and try to propagate it, but I'm really not. It's a cool plant, but it's not high on my priority list to propagate. It's pretty and it does its thing, but I don't really need more of it. So there's that. Let's go into the cylindrica group of Sansevierias. It looks like my hair's all over the place, but I think it's the background. So this one here is one of my favorites. This one is, I believe it's Sansevieria Boncel Starfish. When it had less light, it got much longer. I'm going to say more skinny leaves, but when I put it in the sun, direct sun, it started to get more smaller, more compact, more stubby. Right here, this one here was a leaf that it got, let me put my hand behind it, was a leaf that it got outside over the summertime, and it's much shorter and much more stocky than the others. And then this is one that's developed mostly inside over winter, and you can see that it's already jumped up in size. It's a little bit thinner, not terribly thin, but it's certainly much thinner than this one, and again taller. So again, full sun if you want them to grow more compact and well, just better, a little faster. So yeah, I really like this one. This one is Starfish. At least that's what I bought it as. Many times in my area, you just get them called snake plants, and you have to research what type they are. Everybody wants a premium price for them, but I'm a firm believer that if you want a premium price for a plant, if you want to charge that price, you need to have the full name for it, because collectors like myself would pay more for something that you actually know what it is, so you don't have duplicates. Anyway, at one of my local garden centers, I found this little guy. This one, again, just called snake plant. And I believe this one is a Boncel as well. It might be the Starfish, but there is a dwarf variety. Like the Starfish is smaller than the regular Sansevieria cylindrica, but there's a Boncel that's smaller still. So I'm hoping that that's what this one is, but it could just be a small little offset. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'm super excited. This one I have in my west-facing window, and it's loving life right now. And I just watered it, so it won't need a drink for another month anyway. In a small pot, it dries out much quicker than a bigger pot. So what else do I have here? I'm going to get the other one on the floor. You've already seen this one. This is my regular cylindrica. It's like 4 feet wide. The background's going to move because this thing is just, I can't even walk around it. It's crazy. I can't even. Oh my gosh. So this is the regular standard cylindrica. It is crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. This one might actually eventually get the chop because it's I don't know. I might start cutting the leaves back and making little babies, and I don't know, giving them away to friends. But it really is unruly. It's hard to move around this plant now, and it's upstairs, and it's, I don't know. I think I'd like a smaller plant. Maybe I'll do what I did with the Masoniana and put some sort of a cage around it so that I can train them to grow upwards rather than outwards. That might be an option. So if you've done something like that in the past with your Sansevieria, I'd love to see photos. Post them to your Instagram and tag me in them, plants and things. And also the link is down below for my Instagram account. Yeah, that's this one, and it's caught on everything. It's a pain in the butt. It was fun to bring down the stairs because it was scraping along the wall and catching the railing on its way down and trying to knock pictures off the walls. It was a whole situation. Okay, back to some fun smaller things. So I've got here two. I used to call these ones bird nest Sansevierias, and they're really adorable. They don't get much taller than this. They probably get maybe maximum 8 inches tall. They are very prolific. They love to divide. So these ones are probably a year old, and when I got them, they were just a single rosette in the pot, and now they've pretty well filled the pot up, and they're actually pushing the side of the pot on this one. This one had one right here before the video, but I guess I've overwatered this one, and I see that I have, the leaves were looking a little limp, not limp, but curled. This was root rot, and I ended up taking off the dead mushy leaves, and I'm just going to let this callus over probably overnight, and then I'm just going to put it in some dry soil, and hopefully it will re-root and give me another plant. So they're very forgiving. This one here, it looks like it's rotted away again. I'm okay. It won't kill the whole plant. Just a couple. I'm just gonna. This one's toast. There's nothing there. The whole rosette is toast. So this one's garbage. This one can be saved, and that's the pot. And right here, I just noticed as I was showing you this plant, there's a little baby right in here that's starting to sprout, which is adorable. And where did I see it? Kind of right beside it. You'll notice by my finger, hopefully it's coming in. There's a little baby one coming off right there, and it'll do its own thing. I'll have to transplant this into a slightly bigger pot. It's in a 4-inch pot now. I might put it in a 5-inch pot for the summertime when they go outside. Super excited for these guys. They're adorable. They're kind of a cute little understory plant to, if I was to plant something into this Sansevieria Masoniana, because this one has all of its interest up high. I can put some of these down in the bottom, and it would probably look really pretty. Actually, that's a really good idea. Save me some space, and I can have more interest down in the pot level. So, I'm not going to do it yet. I still got to think about it, but that is a definite option. So we saw the Fernwood. You guys saw the Bacularis because we did a repotting video. There's so much stuff here. Oh my gosh. My table is full. So the Bacularis is, again, loving life. It's just in its new pot, and I haven't taken off the price. Oh, that is the Bacularis. That's why I remember the name. So there it is. Still just waving in the wind, even though there's no wind down here. This plant is probably one of my favorites right now. It's so pretty, and I love how it's so upright. It's very uniform, and yeah, it's perfect. Bacularis. And this one here is a really fun one. I got it when it was really small. I think I got it. This one's called Sansevieria Francie. I believe it's Francie. Here's a tag right here. Francii, I think. So this one was just maybe to the top of my fingers, right? Well, to the where the top of the tag is. It was tiny when I got it. It might have even been smaller. I can't remember. It's been many years, and over time, it's just grown up. This one doesn't seem to have runners or rhizomes. This one seems to just grow up. At least I haven't seen it produce any offsets. And again, I've had it for many years. Probably had this one probably for 5 or 6 years. Ow, ow, ow. They're pokey, like an agave. I'll probably be bloody after this video. And yeah, so what I'm thinking about doing with this one is I'll probably cut it off here and plant this back in the soil. I've seen photos online where this particular one has branches coming out, and it kind of looks like a funky tree, kind of like a Joshua tree in the desert. So I'm very excited to see what this one will turn out to be in time. And when I cut it back, I'll obviously take some leaf cuttings and try to propagate them. I think that would be a lot of fun. But it's a really interesting and cool plant, and it's so much fun to grow different varieties of these things. So there's this. I've got to lay it down on the table because it won't stand up. It won't even stand up with me holding the pot. It's so top heavy. Over on the shelf, it's leaning against the wall. So I showed you that one. I've showed you this one. Okay. So here is just a tiny little, I believe this one's just a regular cylindrica. I've got it in a little mixed pot with Haworthia. The Haworthias love it. The Sansevieria is just doing what it does. I don't know whether you're able to see it all that well. Let me cut my face out of it. So it hasn't divided like crazy, hasn't gotten too big, but again, it's being constricted by the size of the pot. So we'll see what happens with this. It's been in this pot for about a year, and I did it just mostly for the Haworthia. I love these Haworthia, and the Haworthia themselves are multiplying, and eventually I'll just have to redo this pot just because it's going to start looking a little bit jammed. So there's that. We looked at those, and it looks like the last one that I have, I thought I had more, I guess I don't, is this one. Here, I'll bring up the whole pot. I don't know what this one is per se. I think this one is called Whitney. Is it a Trifasciata Whitney? I'm not sure. Or I've seen also Silver Flame. So let me know what this particular one is. I love how it's got more of the plain green center and then the regular snake plant margins or the markings on the sides. I think that it's so unique. It's really pretty. Let me see if I can get a better angle here. This is a new addition to the family, and this Sansevieria collection is ever growing. Whenever I see a fun plant, I'm actually scanning the shelf as I'm doing this to make sure that I didn't forget any Sansevierias, because I have them tucked around everywhere. So yeah, I'm always adding new Sansevierias as I find them. They're really hard to find different varieties in my area. So whenever I see one, I pick it up if it's not too expensive. Some of them can be pretty pricey, and I try not to get something that's gigantic right away. I love to watch them grow. They grow well, so why not start a little small and have that sense of accomplishment when they get a little bit bigger. So, hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to see your Sansevierias. Let me pick this guy up again because it's so much fun to look at. Show me your Sansevierias. Post some photos to the Instagram, to Instagram, and tag me in it, plants and things. And I'd love to see what you're growing. I'd love to see the different varieties. Oh, they're so cool. Yeah, I want to have some more inspiration. Anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.